So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about empathy. I'll share more about my experience with empathy, and I will give more advice and pointers to those who might be struggling with themselves as being extremely empathic. So, of course, right, in the same way that you can observe your mind, and in the same way that you can observe your mind and your emotions, you can observe energy, right? The fact that you can observe it means that you're not it, and you are the awareness, aware of the energy. However, that pointer may not be quite satisfying or effective for you, because sometimes empathy or an empathic experience, when you're really picking up on something, it can be so immediate and so physiological and so intense and so disorienting that merely telling yourself, well, I am the awareness, I'm not this, that will calm your mind down, right? If you're picking up on all sorts of chaotic energy and you remind yourself, I'm the awareness, I am the eternal awareness, I am not these movements of energy, right? Of mind. The thing is, at least in my experience, right, the experience of picking up on others' psychological and even physiological energy can be so intense and so immediate that, at least what happened in my life, is that I went into a deep inquiry of where this phenomenon, right? Why is there so much discomfort in this experience? If you're an empathic being, another way to meditate with empathy is to realize that everything in the universe is a vibration of yourself. Everything is a vibration of myself. So when there's even screaming going on, dogs barking, there's a church bell right down the street that rings every hour, even in the wee hours of the morning, right? If you completely surrender to it, in a sense, and that means get into a state of no mind and almost feel yourself as the whole space containing all of these sounds. Those sounds will just feel like a part of your body. It will feel blissful to you. And that's just fine, right? When you're not really dealing with personalities, like when you're not dealing with life situations that require more immediate interaction, right? Just when you're in the midst of chaos and sound, just relaxing into the sound, everything is a vibration of myself. Every sound, if you relax into the sound of a drill drilling down the street, you might feel it as a little sensation in your neck, right? You'll feel it. You'll feel that it correlates even to a part of your body. And without the mind calling it bad, or without the mind being irritated, the only thing that can ever be irritated or afraid is the mind. You are not afraid of anything. You're not afraid of anything. It's just your mind has resistance to things, right? So when you really relax into, I am the whole space, and this is just a movement of myself, that can really what you're telling your subconscious mind is like, I'm not separate from life, and I'm not afraid of life. Because I'm not separate from life, how can I be afraid of it? I am at one with it. But let's talk about where the rubber hits the road here, right? Where we interact with humans, where we're in public, when we have fuller interactions. My experience of empathy has been very intense and extreme, in the sense that if people are in chaotic psychic energy around me, I will, let's say they're feeling turbulence. Let's say they're feeling a lot of inner turbulence and they're in my proximity. I might feel at first like, my stomach is in a washing machine. My stomach is in a washing machine. And I learned over time, right, to observe and identify when something would come into my experience and I knew it wasn't me. So I would just say, oh, that's not me. And the feeling would immediately disappear. So first and foremost, not identifying with everything that you feel, which a lot of spiritual people, or people that talk about shadow work, they want you to process everything you feel. Oh, you can only feel your state of mind. That's not true. Sorry, but that's not true. If you are perpetually noticing only certain things, right? If you are only noticing people's shadow qualities, like, yeah, that's what you're tuned to. But there's all kinds of stuff going on in the universe, right? And your ability to discern the difference is just a quality of consciousness. It's a quality that we have. It's like discerning what to put in your mouth and what not to put in your mouth, right? It's just a quality of intelligence. So, but while you are in this really no mind state, you can't really find flaws. It's true. Like when you're in that expanded state of no self, everything can feel blissful, but we are not only that dimension. We are also the individual. We are also interacting relatively. And when you interact with someone and all of a sudden you're feeling their physical pain, is that necessary? No. And I'm going to tell you what I found in my life that helped me unpack this and helped me clarify it in my experience. It really helped me let go, or it helped me be more autonomous, let's say. So basically, right, the sponsoring thought, if you're an empathic being and you feel like you're at the mercy of the energy around you, that's the belief. I'm at the mercy of the energy around me. The environment owns me. The environment owns me. I am at the mercy of my environment, which is the perspective of a child. It's a perfect perspective of a child because it's true for a child. You are at the mercy of your environment to a certain extent. But if you're a very energetic, empathic being, that applies to this whole other dimension where, you feel helpless in the energy, in the realms of energy where you just feel everything. If you listen to a lot of empaths or people that do energy forecasts, right, a lot of it, and this is not a judgment, again, this is just a fact, right? And this is something that I used to struggle with. A lot of them sound like victims. Oh, there's lots of intensity going on. There's always been lots of intensity going on. The planets have always been shifting around the universe. There's always been wars. There's always been shifts. There's always been intensity. There's always been that, and there always will be that. But the question is, why is that all that they're talking about? It's almost like they're just here being bombarded by energy. And the fact that you take the stance, well, I am the awareness, I don't identify as that, I am the awareness within it. Yeah, that will make you feel safe. That will make your mind feel safe. That will certainly quiet down the experience. But I'm addressing the whole phenomenon of being so aware of all of this energy. The sponsoring thought is, it's like an exaggerated belief, like I am completely at the mercy of my environment. I am completely at the mercy of my environment. My environment owns me. My environment programs me. I'm separate from life. I'm this little thing separate from life, and everything is attacking me. It's iterations of those beliefs that make the experience of empathy feel uncomfortable. So what's the antidote? The antidote is not just saying, I'm the awareness. And that's like standing in the middle of a storm, like in the eye of a hurricane, with all this debris whipping around you, and realizing that you can find refuge in the eye, which is true. Yeah, that's true. What I'm talking about is radiating from the eye, radiating a sense of stability. So that would look like your light penetrating the storm and breaking it up, right? You are radiating your energy into this reality. You're not just observing it, and you're not just proving to yourself that you can find solace by saying, well, I will find refuge in awareness. I am the awareness. I am not the energy. That's true. But let's take it a step further and realize like a lot of why empaths feel so at the mercy of their environment, it's almost like they feel they don't even exist, because maybe their needs were so maybe they were so gaslighted, maybe they were so undernourished, right, in their needs. Maybe they were so almost disrespected. Maybe their parents and their family had no sensitivity to their needs. So they gradually, the border or the outline, right, that makes them a real being, a real character, that border disappeared. And while an aspect of unity consciousness is being able to feel and sense the universe about you, which is you, which is your body. It's like if you're feeling your body, your physical body, let's say you stubbed your toe. Are you going to put all of your awareness on the throbbing sensation at the tip of your toe? That's what empaths do. They pick up something and they feel attacked by it. They feel at the mercy of it because they are occupying a perspective, a child's perspective, that feels that it is at the mercy of that pain. I can't do anything about it, and I must completely absorb my attention on it to keep me away from it, when that it just makes it bigger in your experience. So if the universe is your whole body, are you going to put your undivided attention on the parts of it that hurt you? No, you can be aware of it with love. You can be aware of it and feel love. And that's it, right? You feel somebody's pain around you, be aware of it and feel love. Be aware of it and feel love. Feel love for yourself, who's so empathic. Feel love for them, who's in pain. But when you focus on it, when you fixate on it, right, when you start to notice it, it just becomes more and more. That's why so many empathic beings are some of the biggest complainers, right? Because they just won't lift their attention from things that bother them. Because because part of it is because they were never heard, right? They were so aware of things. Maybe they were aware of disturbing things in their environment, and they were never heard out. They were never believed. So they have this unconscious belief, like, I have to explain to you how bad this is, how true this is, so that you'll believe me, and so that it will finally leave me alone. Where that's a child's perspective, right? So the antidote to feeling like a victim to your empathy is realizing I'm an adult and I can radiate the energy that I choose to radiate into my experience, period. Which means I'm not just the awareness, aware of the storm around me. It has just this cold observer quality. There's something more full than that. There's actually radiating yourself into this moment as an individual, letting source complete its path to the earth by radiating through you. Because awareness itself is just one dimension of yourself. There's also love. There's also your presence. Presence is a form, and you can energize it. You can literally take up energetic space in this world, which I highly recommend. A non-dual awakening and the end of a separate self is not the end of an individual. It's not the end of it. The individual is non-duality. Individual is part of non-duality. Non-duality is not just the dimension where it's the one, substratum aware of itself and seeing itself in others. Yeah, that's true. Also as it's expressing through the individual, through this flavor. So, right, the sponsoring belief to having uncomfortable empathy is that you believe you are at the mercy of your environment. You believe that your environment owns you, that it programs you, and that you have that basically you don't exist as an individual. And a lot of non-dual teachings can perpetuate that very sad misunderstanding. You do exist as an individual. You are the one being expressing here and now as an individual and as everything else as well. But if you withdraw your energy and stay disassociated, That's another reason why empathy can be very uncomfortable. If you're not connected with your physical life and you're out here in the ethers, just so aware of everything, maybe you're so aware in the fourth dimension, maybe you're so aware of all the, well, yeah, you're going to be, if you're always there, right? If you're always in those other realms, if you're always in fantasy, like there's a light side to fantasy. It's a creative tool. It's a way that the mind creates. You receive images of things that you are creating. But if you're always in fantasy, right? If you always listen to music that makes you go into fantasy, if you always find yourself in fantasy, you're avoiding something. You're avoiding something in this reality. You're avoiding feeling something. And that is what the willingness to feel whatever is arising in you is what completes that super highway for source to travel through, right? The central channel to be able to connect into your physical life. So if you stay out here, disassociated in awareness, well, if you put all of your attention on the non-physical, you're going to be really hyper aware of the non-physical. That's another thing. And that's fine if that's your cup of tea. Go for it. I spent years that way. Or I should say I spent almost my whole life that way. And for whatever reason, my heart has a desire to connect more fully into this physical world. And so I'm still an empathic being, but it's different. I actually feel myself now. Instead of only feeling my environment, I now feel myself. I now feel myself as an individual. And Kundalini awakening is not going up and out. It's bringing spirit in. It's bringing spirit in. So I hope this helps. I speak from experience. I had a very physiological, intense experience of empathy. And I was so tossed around by all the sensations in the ethers, right? I would feel them so intensely that it was hard for me to focus. And I realized that sponsoring belief, I am at the mercy of my environment. The environment owns me, and I don't exist as an individual perpetuated. Yeah, it's funny. Perpetuated by non-dual teachings. Yes, I do exist. Yes, I do. Because my existence, this personal existence, is an expression of the non-dual reality, right? All of those things led me to quite a chaotic, right? Beautiful, because I became aware of a lot of different dimensions, but a bit chaotic because it wasn't connected to my life, my physical life. So I speak from experience. I have no judgment whatsoever. I have a lot of compassion because not many people understand this. So I've walked through it and I do understand it. And so I hope that what I'm saying helps. And I hope you have a good day.